Few entertainers have radiated warmth and optimism as enduringly as Dick Van Dyke. For more than 7 decades, he has embodied the uplifting power of performance, blending physical comedy, heartfelt sincerity, and a deep sense of humanity. His presence on stage and screen has never been merely about laughter. It has been about connection. Audiences have long felt that his smile carried reassurance, that his humor contained empathy, and that behind every buoyant performance was a man who genuinely cared about lifting spirits. From the golden age of television to beloved family films that remain cultural touchstones, Van Dyke's career traces the evolution of modern entertainment itself. Yet what makes his story remarkable is not just professional longevity, but the resilience and authenticity that fueled it. His journey reveals how perseverance, kindness, and creativity can turn a life into a beacon of enduring light. Early life, finding light in modest beginnings. Born in 1925 in Danville, Illinois, Van Dyke grew up during a time of economic strain and global uncertainty. His father worked as a traveling salesman, often away from home, while his mother supported the family as a stenographer. Stability was not guaranteed, and young Dick learned early how to navigate responsibility and self-reliance. Yet within those modest beginnings, a spark was forming. At school, he gravitated toward choir and drama, discovering that performance offered both escape and affirmation. The stage became a sanctuary where he could channel curiosity and sensitivity into creative expression. Even as a shy child, he sensed that humor could bridge emotional gaps and invite others into shared experience. These formative years did more than cultivate talent, they instilled empathy. The challenges of childhood shaped a performer who understood vulnerability and who would later transform that understanding into characters filled with warmth and relatability. Early career, persistence before applause. Van Dyke's path to recognition was gradual and marked by persistence rather than instant acclaim. In the late 1940s, he began working as a radio disc jockey, speaking into microphones with the hope of reaching unseen listeners. He later toured nightclubs as part of a comedy duo, refining his timing and physical expressiveness in modest venues. When military service redirected his plans during the Korean War era, he entertained troops through special services, discovering again that humor could sustain morale even in difficult circumstances. These early professional chapters were not glamorous, but they sharpened his understanding of audience connection. He learned that performance was not simply spectacle, it was dialogue. Every small stage, every improvised routine strengthened his confidence and deepened his craft. The years of obscurity built resilience, teaching him patience and adaptability. Long before fame arrived, Van Dyke had already developed the work ethic and sincerity that would define his career. Broadway breakthrough, the turning point. The breakthrough came when Van Dyke was cast as Albert Peterson in the Broadway production of Bye Bye Birdie. At 35, after years of steady but quiet labor, he finally stepped into a spotlight that matched his talent. His performance earned him a Tony Award, affirming what persistence had quietly prepared him for. Broadway provided more than recognition. It offered validation that his blend of physical comedy and emotional nuance resonated on a grand stage. Audiences responded not only to his humor, but to the sincerity that infused it. The role showcased his agility, both literal and emotional, and introduced him to a wider national audience. This pivotal success marked the transition from hardworking performer to celebrated talent. It also demonstrated that patience often precedes triumph. Van Dyke's Broadway acclaim was not accidental. It was the culmination of years spent honing skills, trusting instinct, and believing that dedication would eventually open doors. Cinematic magic, songs, dance, and imagination. Van Dyke's transition to film expanded his reach across generations. In Mary Poppins, he portrayed Bert, the cheerful chimney sweep whose exuberance and heart became central to the film's magic. His energetic dance sequences and buoyant charm turned musical numbers into celebrations of imagination. Later, in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, he once again combined whimsy and sincerity, anchoring fantasy with emotional grounding. These films became enduring classics, cherished by families worldwide. What distinguished his performances was not merely technical skill, but the evident joy he brought to every movement and lyric. He invited audiences to believe in wonder, to see possibility in ordinary spaces. His cinematic roles transcended entertainment. They created shared cultural memories. Children grew up inspired by his optimism, while adults found reassurance in his warmth. Through film, Van Dyke's light reached across decades, remaining timeless. Personal trials, strength. Behind the smile, despite professional acclaim, Van Dyke's life was not without struggle. Like many long-serving entertainers, he faced periods of uncertainty, critical scrutiny, and evolving industry expectations. There were moments when roles grew scarce or creative ambitions met obstacles. Yet these challenges did not erode his optimism, they refined it. Off-screen, he confronted personal hardships with humility and candor, acknowledging vulnerabilities while maintaining gratitude. Rather than allowing setbacks to define him, he approached them as opportunities for reflection and growth. This resilience deepened the authenticity audiences sensed in his later work. The buoyancy that seemed effortless on screen was, in truth, sustained by discipline and perspective. His ability to remain generous and approachable amid both triumph and trial reinforced his reputation as not only a talented performer, but a grounded individual. The smile that captivated millions endured because it was rooted in genuine perseverance. Love and companionship, a life shared. In his later years, Van Dyke found enduring companionship with Arlene Silver, whose partnership with him reflects mutual respect and shared joy. Their relationship has drawn attention not for spectacle, but for its authenticity and warmth. Together, they exemplify how connection transcends age and expectation. Van Dyke has often spoken about the importance of laughter and support within a partnership, emphasizing gratitude for daily moments rather than grand gestures. This chapter of his life underscores a consistent theme. Fulfillment arises from human bonds. Beyond awards and applause, it is companionship that sustains. Their shared public appearances reveal a man still animated by curiosity and affection, embracing each new day with enthusiasm. Love, in his story, is neither fleeting nor conventional. It is enduring and renewing. Through partnership, Van Dyke continues to demonstrate that joy is amplified when shared with someone who understands and celebrates it. Enduring legacy, the measure of a life well lived. The honors bestowed upon Van Dyke, including Emmy Awards and Lifetime Achievement recognitions, affirm a career of extraordinary influence. Yet accolades alone cannot measure his impact. His true legacy lies in the comfort he has offered audiences for decades. Through laughter, music, and sincere storytelling, he has reminded viewers that kindness and levity are powerful forces. Generations have grown up with his performances as touchstones of reassurance. In an industry often marked by fleeting fame, his relevance endures because it is anchored in authenticity. He has shown that greatness stems not from spectacle, but from empathy and perseverance. From a modest childhood in Illinois to international recognition, his journey illustrates how dedication and optimism can transform challenges into artistry. As he continues to inspire, Van Dyke stands as living proof that joy, when shared generously, becomes timeless. Conclusion: a beacon across generations. Dick Van Dyke's life story is ultimately one of illumination. Through television, film, and personal example, he has demonstrated that humor can heal and connection can transcend circumstance. His career reflects adaptability and courage, while his personal philosophy champions gratitude and kindness. Each era of his journey, from early struggles to celebrated triumphs, contributes to a portrait of resilience. He has never relied solely on charm, he has cultivated sincerity. That authenticity is why audiences continue to cherish him. As he stands near the threshold of 100 years, he remains not simply an icon, but a reminder of what endures: compassion, creativity, and shared laughter. His legacy is measured not just in awards or roles, but in hearts uplifted and spirits strengthened. In celebrating Dick Van Dyke, we celebrate the enduring light of joy itself, a light that continues to shine brightly across generations.